Hello and welcome back to some Seashore Birding Adventures and an introduction to my new series I'm putting together called Birds, Poetry and Literature. And this was very much inspired by the work I did on Birding Wisdom, that two-part episode where we explored the beginnings of ornithology, looked at our forefathers and some of the pioneers. And in episode 2 of that, I finished off talking about John Clare, not only as a naturalist, but of course as a poet as well. And we looked at some of his poetry. We looked at the lineage of the nightingale, and we traced it back to Greek mythology. We also slightly looked at James Thompson's The Seasons, the book that really influenced John Clare at the beginning. And I really, at the end of that, I myself felt a little shortchanged because I wanted to pursue that a little further, at least the poetic side of it, but didn't really know where to start. So I decided that I would do a little bit of homework. I haven't got a literary background, as you can probably imagine, just about passed English language at school, but as you get older, it's funny the things that you find interesting. Anyway, to do that, I decided to take on the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer. This is the Iliad here. You can see it's a bit of a monster, and there's the Odyssey by Homer. And I read these two books, and I'm not going to lie, it was quite a challenge, but it wasn't as hard as I thought. Anyway, just to get something under my belt, and it was while I was reading those two books that an idea came to mind of not only exploring birds in poetry, but also try to find mention of them in the texts of some of the classics as symbolism or as metaphor. So that's what I decided to do, and start exploring some of the classics. Anyway, before I get into any of that, just very quickly, I'll just give you an update for my subscribers. I know I haven't put anything out recently. I've had a fairly quiet year. As those of you who follow me will know, at the beginning of last year, 2024, I got quite a few nice birds which I've already reported on. So that was the northern water thrush, the yellow-rumped warbler, the dark-eyed junco, woodchuck shrike, lesser grey shrike, and the bared sandpiper. And literally since then, I haven't done a lot of birding in the field. Life and energy levels and circumstance has not allowed me to do that, but I have then thrown myself into doing some research into this next sort of project. I did get out to there was a book fair on, and it was held at Elstead in Surrey in a little church there, and it was the daughter of Jeff Wheatley. Now he wrote this book here, The Birds of Surrey, and absolutely fantastic book. Anyway, he has passed away, and his wife had passed away, and his daughter decided that she would sell on his books. So we went up to this book fair, and I managed to get quite a few books, and the best of which which I actually talked about in. Sorry, I should have prepared some of this stuff. Which I talked about in Birding Wisdom. So we talked about the natural history and antiquities of Selborne by Gilbert White, and I managed to get a copy of. Let's see if I can get that right. White's Selborne. I'm not exactly sure how old this book is. I couldn't find a date in it. I know for sure it's not a really expensive book, but the fact that it is one of these old books and it belonged to Jeff Wheatley was fantastic. So I got that, and then really. I didn't do an awful lot out in the field, and then finally, I believe I heard Christmas Eve the report of the American Yellow Warbler down in Kent, and I went for that. We went for that on Christmas morning. Unfortunately, I missed the bird by about 5 minutes. I think it showed at 8:07 or something, and I got there about 10 minutes later. And of course, we couldn't spend that much time there. As you can see here, there's a big group of people, and but unfortunately weren't able to see the bird. Boxing Day, I had commitments, so I wasn't able to attend then. And so on the 27th, I went down with my good friend Nick Tanner, and we spent 4.5 very, very cold hours waiting with everyone else. To get a view of this bird, and fortunately it turned up, not for very long, but we did get some good views, and this photo here was taken by another one of my friends, and he's allowed me to use it. So that was a great end to the year. Moving on now with birds, poetry and literature. So I've got through probably about 9 or 10 books now, covering a whole range of different topics, and they're not anything to do with birds, but they're what I would classify as classics, and I've been digging out birds within the text. So that's the sort of idea I had. The next thing to do was to come up with a formula and a structure which hopefully will work, which is this. So I'm going to keep these videos on each classic short, and that might mean anything from 10 to 15 minutes up to, say, maybe half an hour. And within that period of time, we will look at the classic. It's not going to be a full book review. It will be, the name of the book, the name of the author, when it was published, a little bit about it, and then I'm going to mention some of the birds that I've found. Of course, I think with some of this stuff you can Google it, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to discover these birds for myself, so that's what I did. And so in some of the books there'll be quite a few different mentions of birds, and what I don't want to do is sort of, page 9 dove was mentioned, page 50 eagle was mentioned, because it has no context, it's not interesting, and frankly it's a little dull. So what I've done is made note of all the birds that I've found in each book, and then I'll cherry pick what I think has some value and some interest, and also some context behind it, and so we can work our way through the classics like this. So we'll look at the book, we'll look at some of the birds that I found, and then I will choose a poem that we can that will come next, and I'll try to pair it with the book as much as I can, but of course I won't always be able to do that. And then finally what I'll do is I will give you a short book review or a recommendation of a bird book that I really enjoy. Now that could be, it could be about one specific bird, it could be a story, or it might be even a field guide, but it will be a recommendation of a book, a bird book, that I think is really worthy of taking a look at. So anyway, that's the idea. I know a lot of you have subscribed to my channel, probably because I was doing lots of birding in the field and doing trip reports and reporting on, not reporting on rarities, but sharing some of the rarities I went and twitched and stuff like that. So I hope I don't lose any of you, because I really want to see this thing through. But I will be going back out in the field this year and looking at a few birds. So that's it. As always, if you enjoy the channel, please like and subscribe. It would be great to hear from any of you who would like to make some comments. It's always great to get some feedback, and especially on this series, because I'm really excited to share this. It's been, I wouldn't say it's a lot of hard work. I've enjoyed reading these books, and it's a real sense of achievement when you discover a bird in the text, and it's very exciting actually, particularly if there's a real lot of context around it. So it'll, you know, as you're reading it, you think, I can bring a really good story, and I hope it's informative for you. So I'll leave it at that. This has just been an introduction to that, and we'll try and get the first video out very soon.